Hello, I am a shrimp, and today we are recreating partially this. This warehouse is the inspiration of today's build that I then expanded upon. So those clips are the reference, the general vibe, the idea, the root. They are screenshots from a wonderful little horror game called Order 13. It's one of those ones, do a nice, normal, casual, repetitive task, but horror elements. If you like that kind of game, feel free to check out my other gaming channel. I have a few videos on it. I haven't actually completed the game yet, so there will be another video upcoming. But it's fun. You have a cat. Don't worry, that's why I included the cat. It's like, don't worry. If you don't like the horror, just look at the cat. Also, if you do like that kind of game but wish there was no horror, they did release an update that like you can turn off all the scary stuff and like all the monsters and the horror and everything, and you can just have the warehouse job and the cat. But yeah, I was kind of thinking, I was a little tempted to recreate it, but I was kind of like, I don't know, because it's the conveyor belt things and stuff. I have no doubt there'd be a creative way with like, you know, move objects, debug. There'd be like a way to make something work, but I was kind of like, I don't know, I want something that has more function than just, oh look, it looks like a conveyor belt. So I thought, what if, set in the theoretical world whenever I finally beat that game and escape that warehouse, maybe the warehouse is bought over, converted into little rental units, still has a bit of an industrial warehouse vibe, but it's been painted, it's been, polished up a little bit. Still maybe, a few little, problems here and there. Maybe it's not the highest quality, maybe some of the units may or may not have some mold or filthy trait issues and the like, but it's a nice little place. So what I've ended up with is four rental units, a shared laundry room, a nice little maintenance area that like it has I can't remember which pack, but like the utility shelf that has like a torch / flashlight and bits and pieces on it like that, and the like broom and dustpan from laundry day, and also the good old maintenance closet from Lovestruck. But don't worry, if you don't have Lovestruck, there's still all the other items. If you've none of those packs, I'm sorry. But yeah, so the utility maintenance area that leads out to the nice big dumpster diveable dumpsters, the nice laundry room. I say nice, it's kind of, it's a basic laundry room. It's got a few bits and pieces, extras, chairs, plenty of ironing boards hanging up, a few candles and stuff placed in a sort of like someone tried to make it look a bit more cheerful, but it is kind of just a room in a concrete warehouse room. Like I said, I was trying to stick with the industrial, but a little bit of fixer-upperiness. I like how it, as you can tell, it's open plan, but I like how the kitchen works. Like with the fencing and the little counters. There is the dedicated cat area. Unfortunately, Sims 4 cats are not lucky enough to have cardboard boxes, but I did the best I could with the actual cat items. I'm pretty sure I have, but there definitely is out there like custom content for pet beds that are boxes. So you could make things work if you're on PC. Sorry, console players. But what I discovered whenever I was testing this, I didn't really realize, because I guess I've never had anything placed in just the right spacing to notice, or have never been looking at the right part of my Sims houses to notice. So I put the cat, I can never remember what they're called. It's like part of the cat tree, but it's not the full big cat tree like that thing. The box on legs. The cat can climb, like jump on top of that, jump over like the square in between onto the like rounded islands, then jump from the rounded islands over to the square counters. I was like, it makes sense because they're cats, but I didn't know Sims 4 cats could jump over like a square to get to the next thing. That's amazing. Some shelving. The kitchen's pretty, straightforward, basic. Your sim can move in and, adjust to their needs, but you know, you got your fridge, you have a cooker, you have your utensils up out of the way on a shelf. So, you know, you have your counter space. And here we said cabinet space. I was like, that's not right. Coffee machine tucked in the corner. In game, that dresser, there is a like work computer desk setup, but like in a, not in like a computer desk setup, but in a, yes, we use this for our orders. And if you play the game, you know, and if you don't, it doesn't really matter. There's plenty of string lights around the place, so I did want to recreate that. I had a bit of fun. I know that like we have been, you know, blessed by the wonders of actually getting multiple options in these string lights, but I kind of want more options. I want more like gradual curves and ones that like, I don't know. I just want more angles, more options. Freeform drawing string lights, maybe. I know, I can dream. But yeah, so it makes for a decent attempt at a cozy little space. Listen, removing the what security cameras would have cost them extra. Don't worry. Building management have assured us that the cameras are disconnected and non-functional. It's fine. Plenty of shelf space. I just put a bunch of books. There is a radio in the game, so I put a radio on the shelf. Loosely basing these shelves off the game shelves. I will say that, as you may notice, the bed alcove is a little bit unique. So in the game, it's like what basically looks like just a mattress on the floor shoved up into an alcove. And I really wanted to recreate that as best I could, but obviously, like, Sims cannot just crawl up a bed from the foot of a bed, which is a tragedy. Imagine if they could do that, because that's what I do. I'm like, what do you mean side of the bed? No, crawl up from the foot of the bed. What am I saying? Yes, but basically I wanted to recreate that, like, bed fully filling up the space kind of vibe. So I kind of have, like, a really, really shrunk down bed on this actual level, and then I have put 2 other beds in the basement and raised them up to fill the space and make it look like one big bed. So you cannot click on the actual usable bed that's underneath them, but your sim will automatically go over and, you know, nap or sleep, and they look like they're lying, you know, on the top beds. Obviously, if you download this and you want to change that, I mean, you know you can do that. You know you don't need permission, but I'm just highlighting it as a thing that, you know, if you do download this and you don't like that kind of idea, you know that you're going to change it rather than being like, well, why can't my sim sleep? Again, more string lights and more shelves. All of the shelves. Yeah, have I actually finished the bathroom yet? Not yet. It's a pretty sizable bathroom for what it is. I went with it because, like, in where the bathroom door is in the game, that is basically just, there's a, like, archway, open door frame kind of vibe going into darkness, and there's a conveyor belt that leads out of it, and that delivers you stuff that you buy in-game, like for your cat and upgrades and your tools and stuff. And I thought, well, that's obviously where I'll put the bathroom door. And then I figured, well, you know what, that space comes all the way down to this bed. The whole of that can be the bathroom. It's a simple enough bathroom, you know. Toilet, sink, shower. A little bit of a table area for, you know, your hairdryer and whatnot. Whatever your sim brings with them, you know. A nice little mirror setup, and I like to think I got slightly creative with some towel storage in the most minimal use of the word creative, but it's not a way I've aligned objects before, and I was just like, that's cool. You'll see what I mean in a moment. And obviously if you have laundry, you can replace that, like, base game hamper with an actual functional hamper. And if you don't have laundry, well, you get a free shared room to do whatever you want with. Whatever your Sim's hobby, it could be a gym, it could be an artist's room, it could be we're in Evergreen Harbor, it could be a, you know, maker room with all those. I haven't played with the eco lifestyle, yes. I always think it's living, but lifestyle stuff in a while. This might be the excuse I need to go back. I feel like I've neglected so many previous pack features, but I'm also slightly overwhelmed by newer pack features, and I'm like, I need to do everything at once. No, I don't. Just pick one. But it's picking one that's a problem. The 4 other units are exact clones of this. Obviously, whatever Sims move in can redecorate to their liking, but I feel like it's nice in a... This isn't... Unless your sim wants it to be. This isn't like intended as like your Sims Forever home. This is what I picture, like maybe your Sims have finished uni and, you know, they're getting sort of established, and this is, you know, a bit of a cheaper rental option. It's not the worst, you know, the residents are trying to fix it up. Like, there's some string lights in the shared seating area, which is quite... Just I like how I made this the indoor seating area that's kind of outside but not outside work. But, you know, my idea is, like, this is a rundown warehouse that someone's, you know, did a reasonable but kind of still minimal effort to fix up for housing. But the residents are sort of making it feel more like a home, you know, with more string lights, candles in the laundry room. Like, it's meant to be, yes, it's kind of run down, and some of the lots of, like, rental units have problems. But as long as you've got good neighbors, you know? Like, your sim will move out one day into, like, well, maybe not their dream home immediately, but, you know, a better home, and then of their dream home, or maybe straight to the dream home, but they'll look back fondly in a, wow, that place was a mess, but we had some good times kind of way. See, there's utility shelf, maintenance closet. I had fun. I placed some of the, like, graffiti style wall decals out around the bin, and some of the faded, like, signs out on the very back end of the warehouse to be like, you know, a little nod to its former days. And then I put a lot of, you'll notice, like, around, I put a lot of, like, the wall murals around, and then I go around and replace most of them with the, like, fake garage door murals. That would make sense more for being on a warehouse. Why would they remove them? They'd just block them off on the inside, you know? So your Sims can be all creative if they want. I'm looking at this and I'm thinking, you know, it would also be very easy to expand this. Like, you could replace either the, like, what do they call that thing? Pergola, I cannot remember. I remember the descriptions of, like, the purr before it gets to the word. Can I remember the word? This is how I feel most times I narrate Sims builds, though, because I feel like before I have words in my head, and then once I actually start talking and I'm recorded, I'm like, all the words have left my head. I am but a panicked autopilot that's not really fully set up. But yeah, like, you could adjust either the seating area in the middle or, like, the laundry room or maintenance area, whichever you don't care about having, and, like, build stairs and put more units upstairs if you wanted, or make more communal areas. Like, it's, like, I feel like it'd be very easy to just casually adjust. Nothing's really in your way. Oh yeah, I spent a while debating the mailboxes, because I kind of like the idea of that big bulky one as a, like, you know, they just bought something giant and was like, it'll do, and everyone has to go to the one thing. But then I was like, does it look a bit ridiculous because there's so many boxes in that? And then I went with, no, we'll have little individual mailboxes, and they'll be right by everyone's individual door. Not, you know, oh, you have to go to the front and get your mail. You can just pop outside your door. The postman can walk those few steps. The postman in this world would hate me. Unless they really like getting their steps. Having the fun memories of the first, like, apartment I lived in. Like, the post area was like a row of, like, post boxes on a wall. But they were in, like, the main entrance area, but it was like you came up, like, you came in the front door, and then you came up a few little steps, and then it was the main area that, like, led off to hallways and stuff. But over to the side there was another, like, proper actual staircase that went up a level. It was one of the stairs that went up and then had a little landing and then turned, and you had a few more stairs to go up. And then there on this, like, open little level before it went off into more hallways of apartments was where all the post boxes were. And I mean, it just seemed like, why wouldn't you just put them down right at the front? Like, why are they there? I'm not a building expert, though. I'm sure there were reasons, but I bet the post people did not enjoy having to, like, get into the building go up the little mini set of stairs, which would have been fine, and then be like, oh, more stairs. I feel like it probably added time to their day. Yeah. I like to think that these are like tables fashioned out of things that have been left behind at the warehouse. They just give that kind of, like the tabletop used to be like the end of something else kind of vibe to me. Graffiti decals, I told you. Like you doubted me. Well, you maybe did doubt me. I'm not saying I have a perfect memory of things I use in a build. Only sometimes. Only sometimes. Kind of excited to... Oh yeah, I put in an fuse box and a water heater. So, you know, if your Sims have some maintenance needs, they might have issues with those, or they'll get really handy. By the time your Sims, you know, are ready to move out of here, they'll have like maxed handiness. That's the idea in my head. They'll have so many skills. But yeah, I'm excited to actually move Sims properly into this because it's been a while since I've actually played in residential rentals. Again, back to the part where I feel like it's been ages since I've used a lot of features in game. And now I'm trying to do too many things at once. Like I have one save file that's like spellcasters in Ravenwood that are both like trying to be ghost hunters, live in a haunted house, and learn like the gemology skill to open like a crystal business. I'm like, it'll be fine, it'll be fun. Oh yeah, I settled on these. I think those are the oh no, are they from, is that from Businesses and Hobbies? Because originally I thought I was gonna have to use the string lights that came with the, is it the kids stuff pack or the toddler stuff pack? But then I saw those and I was like, yes, it works. Little reminder of the inspiration, the start base plan. I did even include the basketball hoop over the bed. Good luck to your Sims, but you know, it's fine, it's there, it's cosmetic. There's our test cat that did our jumping. I'm quite happy with how the build turned out. I feel like it's, you know, as far as converted warehouse things that still look quite warehousey, I think I achieved my goals. Please let me know in the comments if you like it, what your thoughts are. Have you ever built anything like this? What would you do differently? You can answer any question I did or didn't ask. If you like this, it is on this gallery. My ID is ShrimpChew. Feel free to check out my channel for other builds. I do just about anything I think of that I want to build. And until next time, have a wonderful day, and please avoid the mold puddles in your rental unit. Goodbye!